We no longer talk about the cave. Even those who lead the so-called historical tours stay on the surface, pointing flashlights toward the darkness but never fully immersing themselves. They'll joke about it, rattling chains, flickering candles, theatrical screams. But nobody stays after dark. Not really. Not if they've heard it. I didn't believe it at first. My mother's family grew up in Adams, and I used to roll my eyes every time they brought up her. The Bell Witch. A tooth-stealing spirit. A moaning ghost who hated weddings and loved quoting scripture. I was 17 the last time I stayed at the old house before we sold it off to the tourism folks. My great-grandfather had held on to it till he died, swearing the house had never once misbehaved in his lifetime. That's not true. And I think he knew it. For me, it all began with the hallway outside the guest room. The floorboards there had a distinct smell. It wasn't a typical musty or wooden scent. It was more like burnt sugar and bile, a sickly sweet odor that lingered only at night, adding to the sense of dread that was beginning to envelop me. The first time I noticed it, I was brushing my teeth and heard whispering in the hallway. I assumed it was wind. Old houses breathe. But then I listened to my name. Not shouted and not groaned. Just whispered, like someone testing how it felt in their mouth. Elena. I froze. I called out nervously. Mom? No answer. I opened the bathroom door and peeked down the hallway. The scent hit me hard, sharp and sweet and sickening. The boards in front of the guest room appeared warped as if the heat had bent them. Then one of them lifted. I swear to God, just barely, but it moved. I heard the creak. I saw it tilt. I ran back into my room and locked the door. The next night, something more significant occurred. I had fallen asleep with the fan on and woke up to silence. Dead silence. The power was out, or at least the fan had stopped. But my phone still worked. That should have tipped me off. It was too quiet. Then I heard it. The sound of a wooden chair scraping against the floor. Slow, deliberate. I sat up and waited, straining to hear it again. There, beneath the floor, this time, a knock. Another knock. 3 knocks. I felt it through the soles of my feet. By the 4th knock, I realized it was trying to say something in Morse. I didn't know Morse, but the spacing between the knocks felt intentional. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I asked my aunt about the house's history. She was chopping apples in the kitchen. Oh, honey, she smiled too widely. You're just scaring yourself. Don't read those old stories. They always exaggerate. Didn't one of the bellboys take a tooth from the cave? Her knife paused. Then I resumed chopping. Don't go into that cave, she said without looking at me. I wasn't going to. You don't go looking for something that wants to be found. Do you understand me? That night, I didn't even wait to fall asleep. I just lay there with the lights on, watching the door, feeling like something was standing on the other side of it. Then came the dreams. They weren't like normal dreams. They felt older. I was lying on the same wooden floor, but I was wearing a dress I'd never seen before. Blue, homespun, stained with earth. My hands were smaller. I had no voice. The dream me crawled toward the porch and reached through the cracks in the floorboards. Down there, glowing faintly in the dirt, was a tooth. Tiny, human, yellowed with age. As I touched it, the ground seemed to inhale. That's the only way I can describe it. Like breath from beneath the house sucked into my lungs. I woke up choking. The next morning, I found fingernail scratches on the floor, where I had dreamed I'd been reaching. My fingernails were blackened and packed with soil. I had not gone outside. I told myself I would leave. I even packed. But something kept me there. I don't know if it was curiosity, guilt, or the feeling that she had chosen me. The final night, I went into the hallway again. This time, I brought a crowbar. I pried the warped board loose and pulled it up. There was something wrapped in burlap beneath it, old rotted cloth that disintegrated when I touched it. Inside was a wooden box, not locked. Inside the box was nothing. Nothing except the smell. That awful sweet sick scent, thick and clinging. But the moment I lifted the lid, the wind howled outside. The door slammed shut behind me, and a voice, not spoken, but inside me whispered, "Found it." The lights flickered, and then I heard crying. A girl's crying, low and guttural and furious. I slammed the box shut and ran, but the hallway seemed to twist and turn, trapping me in its claustrophobic embrace. I lost track of time, turning corners that led back to the same 4 steps. My aunt found me in the morning, still clutching the box, teeth chattering, the feeling of being trapped, refusing to leave me. She said she'd seen the same thing in 1983. She never spoke of it again. We left that day. The house was sold to the county within the year. They claim nothing's ever happened there since. But sometimes in the fall, people say the candlelight still flickers in the old upstairs window when no one is inside. And every once in a while, the new floorboards creak, even when no one walks on them. The Bell Witch didn't come for vengeance, not just that. She came for what was stolen. But once it was found, she had no reason to leave. And she never will. Not really. The Bell Witch didn't come for vengeance. Not just that. She came for what was stolen. But once it was found, she had no reason to leave. And she never will. Not really. Not really.